We have an alpha pack video for you today. The Fed kept rates exactly the same and the market is reacting pretty positive to this news. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at the implications that this has for the crypto market. I'll also take you through some of the most important charts that you need to pay attention to, and then we'll wrap up the video with some potential trading setups. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Let's jump right into the video. Just for that initial confirmation here, the Fed keeps rates at 4.5%, but the US's neighbor, Canada, actually reduced the policy rate by 25 basis points to 3%, announcing the end of quantitative tightening. Now, we've been talking about quantitative tightening and quantitative easing on this channel a lot, but let me dive right into the implications for crypto. I showed you this chart in my last video, just a quick recap. Basically, when quantitative tightening is occurring, ETH is bleeding against Bitcoin, and then when quantitative tightening ends and we enter quantitative easing, money printing, ETH then goes on to outperform Bitcoin, and the rest of the altcoin market follows similarly. Now, the difference at this FOMC meeting is that despite keeping rates exactly the same, Jerome Powell spoke in a relatively positive way in regards to crypto. Here's what he had to say.
The role with Bitcoin really is to look at, with crypto, really is to look at the banks. And we think it's, banks are perfectly able to serve crypto customers as long as they understand and can manage the risks, and it's safe and sound, as many of our, a good number of our banks that we regulate and supervise do that.
So he just confirmed that banks can serve crypto customers. Now, a lot of you may think that based on the tone of his voice, that was a relatively neutral comment to make. But for us crypto holders, this is huge news because he's previously been relatively negative in all things crypto. And now he's finally coming out and actually engaging in the crypto conversation. To me, this is very bullish, and it's likely also why the market reacted in a positive way. If we take a look at the Bitcoin chart here, we are now on our 6th attempt to break $106,000 and hold it as support. As we can see on our first attempt here, we got rejected directly at $106,000 and came crashing down. Then on the second attempt, we actually set the new current all-time high for Bitcoin, which is right under $110,000. Then we came back down and we weren't able to get the daily support of $106,000. Another pop-up on the third attempt and right back down. On the fourth attempt and right back down. On the fifth attempt, we got a very ugly wick marking a gravestone doji, and we came crashing down below the 100K support, and now we are finally on our way to making our 6th attempt. Now, I really hope that this one makes it through, but just a reminder, it's not to break $106,000, but it's to break it and then go ahead and hold it as support before we can move on higher. And if it took us a few days to hold it as support, that would honestly be pretty positive for Bitcoin, in my opinion, to fuel its next leg higher. Another reason here why we pumped after the FOMC meeting is because we saw a lot of volatility leading into it, and it's likely that the markets were expecting the Fed to keep rates exactly the same. Now, best case scenario, we would go ahead and enter quantitative easing. Because the market participants were not actually expecting quantitative easing, there was actually a 99% chance that rates were going to stay the same based on what market participants thought. This led to the sell-off beforehand, and when Jerome Powell went ahead and started talking about crypto in a relatively positive manner, of course, this was unexpected, and it also pumped the markets. Now, you also have to understand here that the reality of the markets is that the news kind of comes afterwards. It's not the news that actually causes the pumps. We're always looking for reasons to see why Bitcoin pumped or why Bitcoin dumped, but it's inherently the market that chooses its own path, and the news comes afterwards as we try to justify the movements. And on that note, I found this tweet that I thought was quite funny because it couldn't be more accurate. Crypto and Bitcoin were meant to be anti-establishment, and now we're literally trading FOMC, CPI, looking at institutional flows and words from the president and all the other whack shit that traditional finance guys focus on. This honestly couldn't be more true. We're sitting there watching Jerome Powell. We're like, oh, please cut rates. Please end quantitative tightening. So here we are, and this is likely why crypto ties into the stock market so much. We're all looking at the same things. Now, let me take you to some of the trading setups. So first we have Bitcoin here. This has been a pattern that we've talked about quite a lot, and it's still a valid long from when we initially talked about it. We can see that we got these two hammer candles, long wick to the downside, small body to the upside, and these are what I would consider two very bullish retests before Bitcoin moves on higher. So a long, in my opinion, here is still very much valid, but the best thing that I would be looking for would be to hopefully hold 106K as support. Now, you can try to front run it a little bit, and obviously this is a little bit more risky, but for me to get that full confirmation, I'm looking to get above 106K, hold it as support, and then we move on much higher. If we take a look at the Ethereum chart, we know by now that 4K poses huge resistance for Ethereum. But one thing to consider here is that we did make a relatively nice hammer candle on the weekly, suggesting that we could see further upside for Ethereum. So as both a spot holder and a trader, I'm personally favoring accumulating Ethereum at these levels compared to Bitcoin. In terms of trading, if you wanted to long Ethereum here, expecting outperformance, I would put my stop loss right around $3,000. Keep in mind here that if we go ahead and break the 4K level in the coming weeks, this will absolutely explode to the upside, marking new all-time highs for Ethereum. That is fully within my expectation. And on the Ethereum topic, we talked about this chart in the beginning of the video and in my previous videos, but let me just zoom in here looking at Ethereum Bitcoin. We're trying to hold 0.03 as support, which is a major support level for Ethereum against Bitcoin. It's very possible that we do hold it as support, and honestly, going all the way down to 0.025 would not just be devastating for Ethereum, but it would be devastating for altcoins as well. And then the next level, which I feel like we shouldn't even talk about, is all the way down to 0.017. But in my opinion, this is highly unrealistic. And for now, it's looking pretty positive for Ethereum on Bitcoin, looking to hopefully hold this as support and then go ahead and move on higher. Keep in mind that as it pertains to measuring Ethereum against Bitcoin, no one can really time these charts. And if you're asking for my opinion, I think that 0.03 is a very attractive level for Ethereum against Bitcoin. If we take a look at some of the previous cycles here, we can see that we made it all the way up to 0.087. So in my opinion, when we look back at 2025, Ethereum would have outperformed Bitcoin. If you're looking to make any of the trades on Ethereum or on Bitcoin, sign up to Weeks, which is the first link in my description down below. You get a $20,000 bonus for signing up with my link, and you also get 50% off your trading fees. It is the first link in my description down below. Another bullish chart to show you here is looking at the total crypto market cap. So you'll notice that this is the same pattern that actually Bitcoin has been making, this bullish pennant. And if we take a look at it a little bit closer, we can see that we got those bullish hammers twice, just like Bitcoin got. So the next area of interest here is right at the all-time highs, around $3.65 trillion. If we can get above here and hold it as support, it's likely that we move much, much higher, and it'll happen fast. And a little bit of continued hopium for altcoins. I agree with this guy. He's not a big fan of fractals, and neither am I. But if we take a look at altcoins in 2020 compared to altcoins in 2025, it's looking eerily similar, and this could gear us up all the way up to a $3 trillion market cap for altcoins alone. Now, this would be one of the most bullish cases scenario, so obviously take this with a grain of salt, but a very interesting chart indeed. And taking a look at altcoins a little bit further, I think I showed you this chart before, but just to reiterate, as we are now getting into February, we can see that in February of the post-halving year, we broke through the previous bull market top for the total 3 crypto market cap. And now we are gearing up to do the exact same thing. I don't need to show you where the targets are. It's likely much higher for altcoins if we can blow past this previous bull market top set in 2021. Okay, so we touched on the interest rate decision. We also looked at some bullish charts, and now I have a little bit more of a degen play for you, especially if you've been watching the channel more recently. One of the things that we've been talking about here is Toshi. Now, Toshi is the only base meme coin that's currently listed on Coinbase, and it has exploded since we called it on this channel. We can see here that whales have been buying more than 7 figures of Toshi above a $500 million market cap. So yes, we called it on the channel right around here at the market cap, right around $100 million, and we actually peaked all the way up to $830 million market cap. But a lot of whales are still accumulating at these levels since we got the dip at $500 million. And as we've been currently seeing, it's been outperforming every other meme coin. Now, I still think that Toshi can hit several billions of dollars in market cap, especially if we go ahead and compare it to Brett, which was supposed to be the #1 meme on Base, but it never got listed on Coinbase. Brett made it above a $2 billion market cap. Toshi is still sitting at a $500 million market cap. Based on this information, I have 2 plays here. One of them is a little bit less risky, and it would just involve holding a significant spot bag of Toshi. It looks like we're consolidating around these levels, and it's looking like we're gearing up to hitting that $1 billion market cap, and who knows what would come after that. But If you're a little bit of a degen as I am, and you're looking to leverage trade this one, I would personally be looking at this current opportunity. We can see that there's a ton of support around the 0.01 level as we came back and retested it several times, and I would be looking to long Toshi here. Now, to minimize the risk, once again, I'm sharing with you a reasonable stop loss, which would be around the 0.0009 level, because we wicked all the way down here, setting it just below in case we break these levels, because if we were to break here, it would invalidate my thesis. But on weeks here, I'm looking to use a little bit of leverage on this trade because I think that we could easily surpass the highs that we set so far. Obviously, if you hold a spot bag of Toshi, the gains can still be quite significant, but with leverage, as we know, there's also the opportunity to multiply those gains tenfold. As per usual, nothing that I discuss on this channel should be construed as financial advice. I'm just sharing with you exactly what I'm looking at. I think that Toshi can go ahead and break the highs once more, set a new high around a $1 billion market cap. And if that's the case, and I time this trade with leverage, the gains could be quite significant. It's a little bit of a tricky market to trade recently, but this is one of the best opportunities that I have identified. And if taking any of the trades that I talk about on this channel interests you, make sure to sign up to Weeks, which is the first link in my description. It'll bring you directly to this page where you can see you can earn a $20,000 bonus, and you also get 50% off all trading fees with my link and my link alone. So let's see, can Bitcoin finally break above the $106,000 range and hold it as support on a daily time frame? If so, I think we move much, much higher. But we also have to understand the risks, and it's likely that we won't just go up in a straight line. We could consolidate here for a little while longer. And that sums up today's video. I just want to thank you all again for helping me reach 1,000 subscribers. That's a huge milestone for the channel. Onwards and upwards. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.